We're heading over to the Lee Hartung premises. It's going to be interesting because it's been about 3 or 4 weeks since we've been there. We hope to run into Marjorie Hartung's life partner. She knows more about Lee Hartung than anybody else, certainly more than me, although I've known Lee for 40 years. We were friends. I saw Lee towards the end, and you know, it was sad. It was a sad situation. His whole life, his entire life, every minute of it was built around this collection. But, you know, things get recycled, and it's a good thing. Most of his stuff is going to fall into good hands. RM has some of the best collectors as their patrons. Will be in good hands for another recycling, and that's really all that happens with things, is that they get recycled. All of Lee's stuff has interest for somebody. It is the barn find of the century, and it will probably be one of the great auctions of the century. This is the road that takes us right to the Lee Hartung little private road. You can see the days of the auctions. It's going to be very, very busy. We're going to be pulling into Lee's little road here very shortly, and we'll get a good idea of how things have changed. Remember, this was all tree line. You couldn't see a thing. Now we're going to turn in here, and here's the little road that takes us right in. They got a security guard here. You can see how everything's been cleared out. We can take a look at everything. Well, we're going to walk into the tent here and take a look at all the early tea because it doesn't have doors on it. And more teas. Looks like we got all the teas on one side. And yep, all the teas are on one side and the Model A's are on the other. There's the card at 1 Pebble Beach, the very first Pebble Beach. The Edwards, quite a car. Man, this is something. You can see all the license plates on the wall hanging here. This is the car that Lee considered his daily driver. He used to claim that he could get 35 miles to the gallon on this little 32 Ford. Kind of believable. Done by Edsel Ford, but there's no proof of it. It's just rumors. It wasn't done by any amateurs. If you take a close look here, you can see some of the workmanship that's gone into this. If I had to take a guess, I'd have to say it's an outboard motor from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And here's the second row of Model A's. It was available at the time, and he was just buying them up right off the street. People couldn't trade them in for any big value, so they would just sell them to Lee, and he was happy to buy them. I can see one that's going to be everybody's favorite. This one right over here looks like it's off a carnival ride or something. I think every grandfather that comes to the auction is going to want to get that for his grandson. I think that little motorcycle is going to do very well. A lot of people really don't know about American Motor Scooters. It was made about a block, or at least their sales office was about a block from my house in Chicago on Fullerton Avenue back in the late 40s and early 50s. Another thing that's very interesting about this situation is that the hot rod guys are still building new hot rods and customs. And they just drool over getting one that hasn't been messed with. The hot rod guys and the custom car guys, I think they're going to show up for this auction too. Have something for everybody, as Ian once said. And we're still looking for Ian. He's got to be around here somewhere. 3940 Ford. Look at this baby. Oh, with spotlight. Oh, I love this car. Look at this car. It's got the seat covers in it. This is the way they used to find them back in the 50s and the 60s in somebody's garage. You don't find them like this anymore. Ian.
Hi, Joe.
How you doing? How you doing?
Good.
You know, we're in this building here. You've taken out all the cars, and it still looks full. I mean, it's unbelievable. 80 cars have been taken out of this building, and the building still looks completely filled.
We decided to get creative. So the first room, which will be sold, is one giant lodge. This is the Sportsman's Lodge. And, you know, we've got our guns, we've got our horns, we've got our leather jacket, our seats, television, backgammon. So this is sort of this is the man cave, exactly.
The man cave can literally take this and put it in their basement or something and have a complete room designed by Ian.
It's museum. The first one is the man cave.
Right. The second one?
The second one is the martini room.
The martini room.
Yeah, this is, you know, so we threw together some tobacco, some nudes, some nude paintings, a little movie projector.
Oh, and a radio.
Several radios,
oh, yeah.
Several fans.
Sport canes. I mean, yep. What is this room over here?
This is the Adirondack room, which is sort of more country themed. And, you know, it has its rocking chair and sort of the country posters and skis and more wintry and tackle, the fish and tackle box there. And, you know, so it's
a sportsman's room.
It's a sportsman's. It's about, I think, around 8,000 square feet.
It's 8,000 square feet, but what's about 200 feet long, I'd say, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Here we got ready-made, framed, ready to go badges. If you need some badges for your man cave, for your basement. There's probably a million items here, right? Would you say?
Well, there could.
In case your little plane that you're flying around, you need a spare propeller in case something happens. We have several of them here. You can.
Well, these are actually very desirable.
You know, when you get into the hot rod set. Today, it's a car that's all metal, Henry Ford metal, is worth 5 times as much as a fiberglass one. But a lot of guys, they end up with the body where it's metal, and then they have to buy the fiberglass fenders, because the bodies usually lasted longer than the fenders, because they didn't get nicked up or crushed in an accident. So for guys that are looking for fenders to make their cars 100% Henry Ford metal, I think that they're going to get crazy.
80 lots of fenders.
80 lots of fenders. Look at this. This is a rare hubcap. And there's a whole set here. It looks like there's 3 or 4 or more. And this is a whole lot.
Found most of the valuable spark plugs, and we actually put them on board and zip tied every single one.
Where's you think it's a Creeders or?
No, I don't believe it's a Creeders, but it's still
actually, it looks rarer than a Creeders, you know?
It's got all the original wood, original glass. It's got great guts. And, you know, attraction, amusement piece.
I'm cataloging.
You're cataloging.
I'm cataloging, yeah.
That's a really tedious job, isn't it?
Oh, yes, it is.
And hours and hours of cataloging.
I know each and every piece on it.
I'm not one of these guys that loves to climb ladders, but in order to get a good look at this, I'm going to have to step up here a little and take a look. This is one of the original drones. This is a pilotless airplane. Today you hear about drones and they're doing all sorts of things. And there's all sorts of people sorting through the stuff here. And your name is?
Jessica.
Jessica here is doing the sorting process. I guess you have to sort out what's valuable, what goes in the junk pile,
yeah.
And then decide how it gets grouped together, right?
Yeah, whether it's got a cord on it, it needs to be cut off, whether it's magnetic.
Yeah, we're talking with Jessica here. Jessica's brother is Zach, her father's Bob. The whole family's been here. They're part of the reconstruction of all this stuff in an organized manner. Okay, well, did you ever know Lee Hartung?
Never.
No?
No.
Oh, okay. And what do you think of now that you kind of don't know him, but you've seen all this stuff? What do you think of him?
He was a madman.
Oh, yeah?
He had quite a collection. Yeah. I think he brought home probably a dozen of everything.
He brought home a dozen of everything.
If not more. Yeah, just endless amounts of stuff. Some of it was old, some of it was really cool, and some of it...
And I saw you over there, you were doing a process. What was that process you were doing over there?
Just sifting and sorting all the stuff that comes out of the auction. Well, that comes out of the... Basically making it a little more condensed and easier for her, because there's a lot here to deal with.
Well, that's great. Well, I know you got a lot of work here, and we'll probably see you again.
All right.
Nice talking with
Thank you.
Okay. Tell us a little about... I know that you knew Lee very, very well for several decades, probably, right?
Oh, my whole life.
And you, how old are you?
I'll be 62 next month. He actually dated my mother before my father did.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he went to school with both my parents. When I was in 6th grade, I bought a 1941 Ford GP. And I used to drive it on my grandmother's farm on Gansett Avenue. One time I parked it there, Lee went by and saw it. And he knew what it was. It's pretty unusual. And he stopped and he talked to me and he wanted to buy it from me. So I was in 6th grade when I had my first meaningful conversation with Lee.
No kidding.
Yeah, most kids don't talk to grown-ups. He and I think a lot alike. I mean, he has a lot more around here than I have at my house, but I've got a lot of stuff too. He made a comment to me several years back that it's too bad I wasn't his son because I would have had all my stuff and he had all of his stuff, we'd have a pile big enough we could sit on top of it and see New York. He had an ideal spot here at the main entrance of the Navy base. If a guy got shipped in and he wanted to buy a car, they knew go see Lee because he had cars. And if a guy got shipped out and he had to get rid of his car, go see Lee, he buys cars. So it was a pretty good deal.
And you started doing this here on...
He died on the 18th of May, and we started first week in June.
First week, so you've been here June, July, August, September, 4 full months.
Yeah, steady.
Yeah, and almost every day.
Yeah, yeah.
How long you been here, Zach?
I was here all summer, and now I'm back at school. I'm just off for fall break, and it's amazing how much has changed since
Isn't it? I guess over here, there's so many license plates that weren't mounted, and that's hard to believe. That we got a couple guys here who are taking care of the on-mounted license plates, mounting them. How many license plate boards have you made so far? Several?
I think this is like our 6th or 7th.
6 or 7. You ever see so much stuff in your whole life?
No.
This is going to be an experience you'll be able to tell your kids about, right?
And grandkids about it as well.
Your grandkids, yeah. Well, you're having fun. I'm not a license plate expert, but in my opinion, this could easily be the biggest license plate collection in the United States. What's your thoughts?
I think it is.
You think it is?
The biggest plate collection in the United States, if not the world.
I mean, when you think that all these pieces were made by hand, they were soldered in and made by hand, I mean, it's something that you just don't see today. The auction's going to be on the 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
Yep.
And on the 3rd, that's going to be mostly what?
Mostly car parts and memorabilia.
And then the 4th will be?
On the 4th, which is the Friday, we'll do the motorcycles, motorcycle parts, and license plates as a major feature, plus some memorabilia.
Memorabilia. So, and then Saturday they go into the cars, more parts and more memorabilia.
Exactly.